Hi, my name is Hannah Harris, and today I'll be giving my informative speech on psychological marketing strategies. So, basically, just including the science behind it, why it works, the most common strategies, how to use it efficiently, as well as ways that it can be morally wrong. Okay, so have you ever made an impulse purchase that later caused you to wonder why you decided to buy such an unnecessary product? This is most likely a result of psychological marketing strategies that that company used to catch your attention. I've noticed that most of the purchases that I've made recently were items that appealed to me. They were useful items that I decided I really wanted to have, although I definitely could have gotten by without owning them. Companies use techniques such as choice of color, offering deals and free trials, trustworthy sounding language, emotions, and convenience to draw their customers in further. I'm going to explain why these common strategies, as well as many others, are so effective in why they're so effective in persuading the human brain to be more interested than they were at first glance. Advertising companies have been using neuroscience to control the human mind since mid 1900s. Edward L. Bernays, nephew of Sigmund Freud, was one of the main founders of using neuroscience to cultivate the audience's wants rather than just adjusting to consumer demands. Bernays played a large role in the Lucky Strike campaign, where he attempted to target more women to smoke. Many of the women originally disliked the green packaging of the product and decided not to purchase the cigarettes, as told by the staff at Gaia. Instead of changing the color and the appearance of the cigarette packaging, Bernays staged events in a way that made the color green more attractive to the women. He was also able to convince them that these cigarettes would give them a slimmer figure and a soothed throat, although there was no clear evidence that this actually did so. He also did not approve of smoking himself, which is incredibly important. He did not personally approve of it, but he was able to convince others to do it in a way to form and earn a profit. For example, Bernays would destroy his wife's cigarettes whenever he found them around the house. Here, we can see just how strong neurological strategies can be. Bernays despised smoking, yet he was still able to sell it to his customers, even female customers who initially had very little interest. Companies aiming to gain more buyers and attention from customers will use common psychological marketing strategies to ensure success. One of the most effective strategies is the use of color and their relationships with the human brain. Maryville University shared the statistic that 62 to 90% of all impulse purchases are made based on color alone. Triggering the emotions of their consumer is another great tactic that almost always ensures increased interest. Companies will also find that offering exclusivity to their customers lures them in much more than making them feel just as insignificant as every other one of their customers. Examples of this include limited time offers, VIP memberships, waitlists, and discounts. It is also extremely important to include aspects of technology if it applies to your product. This does not apply to every product, but if it does, it's always a great idea to incorporate technology. Most of your audience will be on the more technological side, so you have to adjust to their expectations. Modern customers are looking for modern products. Interactive brand images and easily accessible sites through mobile devices will provide a large advantage to achieve your purpose in gaining new consumers or simply maintaining the current ones. Elements of augmented reality can also be beneficial to the visual side of advertising, allowing the audience to get a better picture of exactly what they're being sold. If your product and brand are not easy to access, it's going to be very difficult to maintain the consumer's attention. They're going to get bored or frustrated and leave. We don't have time to sit around and study every product. If it's not easy, we're not going to be interested. This is not ideal for successful business. Though these strategies are extremely effective, companies have to be careful to avoid coming across as flat out manipulative or controlling. To understand this, we have to understand how the mind works. The human brain constantly takes in information, filters it, makes assumptions, and then, as Scott Oldford explains it, spits it out. Even when you think you may just be on autopilot while skimming over something, your brain is still processing it. This is healthy, necessary even, but we have to be aware and careful about what exactly we're letting ourselves believe. The more you recognize a product or brand, the more you'll form a connection with it. One huge example of this is Coca-Cola. We see it everywhere. TV ads, billboards, magazines, the media, so much more. Their red product plays a huge role in their success and sales. Red, as I stated earlier, with the colors relating to your emotions, very attractive to the eye, and so causes a lot of success in their sales. It can be fairly difficult to hide yourself from marketing manipulation in today's world. Even those who weren't trying to sell you a product but rather an idea use manipulation to change your opinions and your standards. This is very commonly found in the media and government. It can be very dangerous with how they use information about you to change your beliefs and your opinions on certain matters in a way that benefits them rather than you. This is one of the main reasons that we all have to be more careful about what we are doing online. It is so easy for others to gain access to you and your personal information, and use that to warp your opinions as much as possible in ways that benefit them rather than the consumer or their audience. Manipulation is not moral, but it is sadly extremely effective. Corporate companies care more about making larger profits than reaching out and finding consumers in an ethical way. It is possible, however, to market your consumers in an ethical way that benefits you both. Companies like Amazon use their algorithms to take note of what you like, buy, and pay attention to. They use personal stats to offer you similar items and advertisements in hopes that you'll be interested and interact with the advertisement, possibly even buy the product. This might seem a bit creepy and strange at first, but there are nothing but good intentions in this process. Most of the advertisements in my own Instagram feed, as well as my other social media platforms, are products that I'm usually fairly interested in. Especially the more I interact with them and even purchase the products, I get similar things that I think I like, and most of the time it is accurate. I noticed that future advertisements are accurately adapted to my personal interests. Manipulation, if done correctly, can be a good thing for both the producer and the consumer. It is in our DNA to feel comfortable. The more we see advertisements we agree with and would likely purchase anyways, the more we trust our devices and the media to introduce relevant products. This, in turn, means that we will be likely to make purchases based on advertisements that are chosen for our personal media feed. Overall, some of the most important factors to advertisements include relevance to your audience, omnipresence, intimacy, and ethical approach. The success of your product is not entirely valid if gained solely through manipulation, because that simply is not fair. The advertisement industry owes most of its success to implementing these simple techniques to their process. Marketing psychology anticipates their potential buyers' behavior. This allows them to alter their ads in a way that gains results and the highest number of sales and profits possible. If these tools were not available to these companies, they would have much more difficulty selling products, especially if those of lesser significance to the consumers. I hope this information was able to help you identify ways that major companies target and attract consumers, like yourself, who may not have noticed the ad otherwise. Understanding this can help you avoid products that are a waste of time and money, and they can even help you create appealing advertisements of your own in the future in an ethical way, of course. Thank you.